What's up, YouTube? Mike from Mass Aquariums. Monday night foosball, Monday night football, the works, and I wanted to bring you the second part of 5 beginner aquarium plants. So technically that makes 10 beginner aquarium plants. What's that? I want to talk about 5 more beginner aquarium plants that all beginners can have success with, because that's what it's all about, is getting into the hobby and putting these nice plants in your tank that look good, that you're going to have success with, so that you can enjoy the hobby and pretty much go on and maybe do some more high-tech stuff later on. But if you start off with high-tech stuff and all your plants melt and you fail, I don't want you to give up. So I'm going to give you 5 more beginner aquarium plants that I love, that I have in all my tanks, and I think you should have in your tanks. So we're going to talk about Java Fern, Java Moss, Anubias, Dwarf Sag, and Water Sprite, or Water Wisteria. I've had all 5 of those plants. I have a lot of these plants still, and they are almost foolproof. You can get away with these plants and do low tech, low light, no ferts. You can do high light, high ferts, CO2, the works. But these are great beginner plants. They're going to help you out. They're going to look great, and trust me, they can go through a nuclear war and you're probably not going to kill any of them. So let's talk about Java Fern first. I've got a bunch of Java Fern. I've got a bunch over here, I've got a bunch back here. Java Fern, you don't want to bury into the substrate, and the great thing is you can tie it with fishing line, rubber bands. You can tie it to all sorts of rocks, all sorts of wood, and it is going to spread like crazy. You don't need to do anything special. It's just going to spread and spread and spread and spread and spread. And it's very easy to propagate too. At the top of the leaves, you'll just all of a sudden see some roots and some babies, and you just pluck it right off the top of the leaf. Super cool. That's another great thing about Java Fern. The way it propagates is unbelievable. It just produces a baby plant right off the top of the leaf. And you just pluck it right off, boom, tie it to something else, and that's going to continue. Anubias, while we're on the topic of tying, is another great beginner plant. There's all sorts of types. Anubias Nana, Petite, Anubias this, Anubias that. It also has a rhizome, so you don't want to bury the rhizome in the substrate. You want to tie it to driftwood, rocks as well. I have a bunch. I have some Petite right here. I have some Petite back here. I got behind this sword. I have a ton of big time Anubias that is going to get huge eventually. Low light, so it's going to grow slow. If you're lucky, your Anubias will flower. It'll shoot a sprout up to the top and flower outside the tank. It looks super sweet. Super easy beginner plant. Anubias, Java Fern. Let's talk about Java Moss. Java Moss is all over this driftwood right here. If you put Java Moss in your tank, you'll probably never get rid of it. Super hardy beginner plant. You just wrap this stuff around anything, and like I said, using fishing line or black thread, elastic bands, and it is going to just grow like crazy. It'll just branch out from whatever you're doing, and then sometimes it'll detach itself. The current and the circulation pumps will blow it around. It'll latch onto something, and then boom, you'll have another huge ball of it. And it's like never ending. You really have to stay on top of this if you really want to make like how you see people make like a bonsai tree, or like a nice piece of driftwood that looks like a tree in your aquarium. That's what they do, is they tie Java Moss all to it, and they make sure they keep clipping it. Like this piece of driftwood right here, I've let it go because I like the way the circulation pump just blows it in the current. And this is great for propagating. I mean, you could just hack this up with scissors and just go tie it to anything, and it's just going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So Java Fern, Anubias, Java Moss. Let's talk about Dwarf Sag. Another one of my favorite plants. Dwarf Sag is, a lot of people try to use it as a carpet plant, but it does grow super tall in the right conditions. If you have it far away from the light, it's going to want to grow up. It's going to grow. Any plant's going to want to grow towards the light. So if you put Dwarf Sag in like a really tall tank, it's going to want to go straight up towards the light. If you put it in a shallow tank with highlight, then you'll get that nice spread out. But dwarf sage is almost impossible to kill. It propagates through runners. It'll produce more runners and runners, and what I mean is you'll have a leaf. Let's just say you have a leaf. And then it produces this little thread under the ground, under the substrate, and then another plant grows up. And then it produces a little runner, and then another one. Just like jungle bell. Dwarf sage, you can propagate through runners. Easy plant. It's going to grow. It can carpet in a low-tech tank, but most likely it's going to grow tall. And I'll get to that in my high-tech plants, but dwarf sage, easy beginner plant. Now, last but not least, water Sprite, water wisteria. It looks like arugula or like the leaves of a carrot. Super bright green, like fluorescent bright green. You can float this stuff. That's the best thing about water Sprite, is you can plant it in the substrate and watch it literally grow right in front of your eyes, or you can just let it float in the tank. Water Sprite's a great nitrate buster. It sucks up nitrates like crazy. I love that stuff. I used to have a ton of it in my 75-gallon tank, and that'll help keep your water in tip-top shape. A lot of people just like to float it, get a big ball of it, tie it, and it just will keep floating around. It will get stuck in your circulation pumps. If you have them real high on top, it'll just constantly go right to where the water's sucking in, and it'll just stay there. I like to plant it. I have float it. If you float water Sprite, it's gonna like take over your tank almost like duckweed. It just grows like crazy. Another plant to get, and you get a little piece of it at PetSmart or Petco or your local fish store. Just literally throw it in the top of your tank, and in a week you're going to have triple, quadruple the amount. Give it to your friends, sell it back to somebody. You know, just unbelievable beginner plant. So, now that was that quick rambling, I'm all pumped up tonight, doing water changes, I'm watching Monday Night Football, everything's going on tonight. 5 more beginner aquarium plants that I suggest all beginners give a try. You're going to love those. And that's what happens when you don't put your phone on airplane mode and wifey calls in the middle of the night to say she loves you. So,